little impromptu. I couldn't go 2 weeks without having a conversation with you, especially after last weekend.
Yeah, after the 247 fights, right? It was
Yes.
all, did you get to stay out of Hunter?
I did. Yeah, I did. I connected with Hunter right before the first of the first bout. So it was nice. Chatted for just a minute. I told him, and I actually owe him to reach out. I was like, I'll let you kind of focus on what you need to focus on. But this is the first time I ever met him. Seems like a nice dude.
Hunter's a super good dude. Obviously, I've been with 247 since like the beginning of my career, and Hunter's like for that he's pretty much the reason. You know what I mean? Like he's just super good guy, makes everything easy. So, you know,
Yeah. So the big news has dropped. I gotta tell you, when I saw it, at first I just saw the name and I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, he's fighting Eddie Alvarez. What the hell? Um, um, what what can you tell me about your opponent? So 247 fighting Brawl in the Burgh 24, October 24th or 26th.
26th. So I'm the main event. So I'm the end of the card. My opponent's name's Eddie Alvarez, not the Eddie Alvarez. I wish. This is a guy. He's got 13 fights, 13 professional fights. He's 4-9. Um, but he's fought a lot of good guys. And you know he's a tough opponent. I wanted a vet. I asked for somebody with a better record, but I was given this opportunity. Main event October 26th, and I wanted to get in there and get in as fast as possible. So, this is what we're doing. And Eddie's gonna be game, dude. He's a scrappy guy. He's always there to throw down, and I feel like my skills are at the best they've ever been. And I'm excited to get back down to 135 too, and perform in my actual weight class.
Yeah, where's he fight out of?
He actually, I think he's like switched gyms a couple times.
Okay.
Obviously, he's been in the game forever, so I think he fights out of. Actually, I know he fights out of 10th Planet Bethlehem out east, because Anthony Hogback fought one of his teammates this past weekend.
So
Yeah,
Santos is one of his teammates.
yeah, yeah. Santos is one of his teammates. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Tough fight, man. I messaged Anthony afterwards. We were trading messages, and I felt like a couple of little moments for him were really the difference of that fight. Like I felt I can't imagine he must have been even more frustrated. Like I could tell he really wanted to let his hands fly. And there was a
Mhm.
couple of moments, I don't know, from my perspective, there was two or three key moments where he had the back, and then he started to slide off the back, and I felt like he hung on a little bit too long, and then ended up on the bottom. And just with the time elapsing, he didn't really get an opportunity to show where I feel like he was so much better than that kid.
Yeah, yeah. I think skill for skill, Anthony's better than that kid. I think that kid comes in on a Saturday or on a Tuesday night when we spar. Anthony wins 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
On that kid had a good game plan. It was the wrestle.
Yeah.
Anthony's better than that. Anthony can perform better than that. Um, and Anthony underperformed. You know what I mean? Like it happens. It's part of the
Yeah.
game. He didn't get hurt. Hopefully, turn around and fight here soon. And keep your eyes out on that. Anthony's super hungry. I think that just lit a fire under his ass.
Yeah.
Um, and that fight, I was in his corner. I was the main guy calling stuff for that fight, and it was just frustrating, being in that position because it was like, man, like I see how much better Anthony is than this kid. Like it's visual. I saw the kid gas. I saw everything, and we just couldn't put it together when we needed to. Anthony, I believe he won one of the rounds. I don't know if it was the first or second, and then the third, the kid was like biting on Anthony's feints. He was really scared to stand with Anthony, and it was hard to be in the corner, hard to watch, honestly, because it was like that kid didn't really come to fight; he came to wrestle. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's how you want to win. I mean, I understand, getting your pro debut, getting a dub, but like that's not the game I play.
No, absolutely. It was that frustrating is the word, right? And like I said, I'm just there watching from the stands, and it was frustrating to see because you could tell, to your point, like just right out of the opening bell, Anthony just had a pep in his step. You could tell he wanted to go in there and bang, and then the game plan kind of just shifted. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see him get back in there, and I
Yeah.
feel the same way. Like that's a growth moment right there. You know, like
Yeah.
that's an opportunity to really take massive steps forward, taking a moment and looking at that because it's to me that's different than going out there and getting the brakes beat off of you.
Yeah. After the fight, was shaking hands with us. I was, cornering Anthony. We're waiting for the announcement. And he was like, I know who you are. I want to fight you too. I straight up did not understand what he said because he was tired. And like just not, I mean, makes sense after your fight. And Luke Martin's like, did you hear what he said? I was like, no. So he said he wants to fight you too. I was like, he wants to fight me? Get it. We can run that whenever he wants. I'll turn around after I fight in October. I'll turn around and fight him in November, December, January, March. But yeah, if you're gonna say my name, I'll let you have your little moment in the cage. But it is what it is. We can run that whenever. I told Hunter we can run that too. But yeah, man.
What was your take of the rest of the fights? Anything that really, I mean, Drizzy's knockout was
Jerseys was sick. I was in the corner for that. Me and Will, my striking coach, are in the corner, and we both missed it.
really
Yeah, we're like, there's like 20 seconds left in the round. Will's like, all right, you go in, and do you want ice or water? And I was like, and then we both look up, and we were like, oh my god, like the kid's just falling backwards, and we were like, oh my, like everybody else in the arena. Drizzy's a dog. He works hard. He's been working his ass off lately, and like to see somebody have a performance like that is sick. He definitely didn't stick to the game plan, but that's Drizzy gonna Drizzy.
dude.
Drizzy's
He
not
hit him
to
so
like
hard.
right down the pipe. When you're Southpaw Orthodox, that's
Yeah.
a straight shot. Sometimes he lined it up. It only took one. You know what I mean? Drizzy hits hard. He's a little firecracker too, dude.
Hmm.
If we're picking out nicknames for Drizzy, it's Tasmanian Devil. It's like a little Marab.
Yes. Oh, Marab. Don't get me started.
He's
Another frustrating fight to watch.
Yeah, but him, and then I also cornered Joao. That fight was very similar to Anthony. It was very frustrating. It was just cage wrestling the whole time. Joao listened very well. To our instructions, got a couple of the takedowns of his own. Joao fought a fight that was not his fight and still won. And Joao's so game and wants to fight so much. This is his fifth fight this year. He was like, all right, I want a split decision against you. I know I can do better. Even though I won, let's run it back. So it should be announced soon. He announced it on his own. He's supposed to run it back with that kid. I don't know if it's signed or not. But yeah, he's supposed to run it back with that kid. I don't know when, but soon.
Interesting. So do you
Yeah.
know, have they announced all the fights that are on your card?
No, the only fights they have announced are me and the co-main's going to be Josh Visoki making his pro debut. So if you want to see somebody else who can throw left hand, Visoki would be your guy.
I've seen a couple of his clips recently.
Yeah, Josh is a powerful dude. He's got a pretty game opponent, tall dude. And it'll be a fun fight. Pro debut for Josh. Get to use all his tools and stuff. It's good for the gym. We got one other guaranteed signed fight. I think they're announcing at the beginning of next week, and you're gonna love it. Love it.
Everything seems like it's clicking for you. It's I've been watching some of the training. It looks like I just saw Will. He was up in Zealy the other day, and I've seen a lot of the guys. Your buddy that was training with Brian Ortega was up in Zealy the other night at
On Mondays.
yeah, yeah. Does he go up there regularly for that class?
Semi regularly. Luke Martin's up there every Monday. Yeah, Josh is my roommate too. So
Oh, no shit.
yeah. Me and Josh wrestled together at West Virginia with Luke Martin, actually.
Okay.
And we wrestled together in 2018, and he's been my roommate for about a year now. He's looking to make his pro debut soon. Waiting on somebody to sign it because it's hard for him to get a fight. But yeah, Josh usually up there.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about having Luke on in the next episode that we get together in live.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a reason for that. So if we're hitting that fights, it would be that reason.
Okay. No, good. Good.
I'm I'm pumped. I'm pumped, dude. Luke Martin. You want to talk about somebody that's made a bunch of jumps, and this will be kind of like a, get ready for Luke Martin to be on the podcast next week thing. This man was like, first off, Division II national champion, fantastic wrestler. Wrestled with me at WVU. Ended up leaving and coming back to Fairmont State and winning a national title. And then he started wanting to fight, and he got a couple. It was hard for him to get an amateur debut, and then he rattled off. He's 4-0 now, and we were like, after he fought for LFA, we were like, bro, we gotta run jujitsu, like focus on jujitsu. That was like what Mike and Will came up with, and dude, I'm not kidding. It's been a month, and he went from, aside from the fact that he's a national champion, like he went from like a maybe 2-3 stripe white belt to like, I'm pretty confident he could go win blue belt worlds. Like very, very confident he could go win blue belt worlds. Kids, like, it's wild. It's wild. The progression in a month, it was like it just all clicked at one time, and this dude's out here competing with like the best people in our gym, and it is wild.
That's always fun to see when somebody has that ability to pick up. They have the base athleticism, they know how to grapple. But there's a lot of guys that I roll with that are fantastic wrestlers, and like, I should watch what I say. Like, there's fantastic wrestlers. There's guys that are really good wrestlers that have a good wrestling background, but they can't quite. Once you throw jujitsu into the mix, it's equalized. Like,
yeah, and that's a lot of wrestlers, the transition from being on your back, stuff like that, or the positions, right? Having somebody fight their back, right? Wrestling, it's not like that. And Luke was like that. Like, to be honest, it seemed like it just wasn't like clicking for him, and then it just clicked, all at once. And on top of that, he's getting better at striking every day. He's doing everything right. After this fight, there's going to be some serious thoughts about him maybe turning and going pro.
that'd be awesome. Jesus, another one. It's just another. It's like just racking them in, bro.
Yeah,
It's,
dude. We're building a little dynasty here. It's gonna be crazy. I think we're trying to. I think we brought it up last time, man. Sean Brady's Marquez MMA out in Philly. That's kind of what I envision our team being, and just building off each other, like the little guy version of that. You know what I mean? We got all people under like 155 for the most part. And we're getting people. We got Unessi training with us now. We got, when Brittany comes back, we got a bunch of undefeated amateur fighters. Our record as a team this year is 27-6. That's including our amateur and our professional fights, right? And this year we have been taking harder fights rather than last year, right? Our win percentage is it's harder to do. It's harder to accomplish when we have as many pro fighters as we do. And dude, our team we're on a roll. We're clicking on all cylinders. We talked about it, like our coaches and stuff. Like, last weekend wasn't our best performance. We had guys that won. Like, we didn't even get to talk about Tim Bailey.
Yeah.
Where, like, I was like, man, you looked good, but the last round you didn't. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that was a tough fight, and I was worried, especially the way that I thought the Austin Warman decision was a little bogus. I thought he didn't do himself any favors. Especially, I felt like he wasn't getting off with his striking the way that he could have. But I felt that he controlled the fight the first 2 rounds a little bit more, and by that third round, though, really hurt him. But put it into the judge's hands. It's tough.
That's the thing about when you're fighting amateur rules, right? You do 2-minute round, 6-minute fight. You get a takedown, probably going to win the round, right? Yeah. I don't care if it's at the beginning or the end. You get a takedown. Most times you get a takedown. it's like a 30-second exchange, right? Even if they get up right
Yeah.
away against the cage, right? 30-second exchange in a 2-minute round. That's a fourth of the round. You probably won, right? Unless you
Hmm.
got and that's something to keep in mind. I think we all kind of like came back after that, and even the guys that won were like, yeah, there's a lot to work on, right?
Yeah.
We went 2 on the night, but I mean, I think as a it wasn't. It was like maybe a C performance at best, maybe C minus or D, and that's okay, right? There's room to grow, and we just got to hold each other accountable and do the right stuff. Most of the people, I don't get to see Austin very much because he's out in Zealy, but I saw every single person that fought this week in the gym, which is you
Good.
know that's good. Even if you come in, like if you're bruised up and you just come in to watch, you're doing the right stuff. You're holding yourself on the schedule. You're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. It was really neat to see. Like, I felt like everywhere I looked, that place, the the convention center was packed. But like one
Yes,
out of every two or three people that I ran into was a stout team member. And I heard conversations at tables where they're like, wow, man, this stout team, like that's the team from the area. Like there was a table that was near where I was sitting, and it was like a dad with a bunch of teenage kids. Um, and like I think the moms were there too. Like it was an interesting table. But I heard the two dads talking, and I popped my head and I was like, hey, I'm biased, but yeah, it is the best gym in the area, like by far, and it'll be proven. Like just enjoy the show. But
yeah, man. That's no lie, right? And I like we all cross train too, so that's the cool thing about Pittsburgh. It's like, I'm training with academy guys, Mat Factory guys all the time. So it's not even like a competition like that.
yeah,
Dream rises to the top. I train personally with Justin Patton all the time.
I was gonna say
Mat
he
Factory
he
guys.
trains all the time with the guys at Stout, from what I heard.
Yeah, man. Justin's not only in my opinion, best fighter in Pittsburgh. He's one of the hardest working people in Pittsburgh. He's in every good room in the city at all times, and he's the guy. He's like the leader of the new generation. I said that on the broadcast, and obviously what happened in the main event was rough, but
Yeah,
he's on a bigger and better thing.
I mean, maybe you even know this, but I mean, do they try to run that back, or just given where his opponent is, like is it just not even worth it? I mean, it,
So originally, I know both these guys real well, Ryan and Justin.
yeah,
They were gonna run it back, but Ryan's actually expecting his first baby, so he's not gonna be able to run it back. They can't do October. Justin's eyes got to heal. They both want to fight each other. They both want to get back in the cage, from what I know of. Right? Justin's healing up good, but he won't be 100% for at least for the next month.
yeah,
It's it's up in the air, and it's just an unfortunate thing, man. The feeling in the air when Justin walked out to the rooster, man, it
dude.
was
There, I don't know that I've seen a better walkout song. I was getting chills watching him come down, just the tension building before he started to come down that walkway. That was very, very fucking cool to watch.
yeah, it was cool. Justin Patton fights are, I mean, he's got to be one of the most. I can't give it to him. I think it's me, but he's second most exciting fighter in Pittsburgh, that's for sure.
It's something to strive for, man. If you can listen, I've heard the stories, which is why I'm excited to be out there for your fight. But yeah, man, like that was really cool. And then interestingly enough, and I gotta do a little more research, but Morelli, do you know him?
Dude, I don't know him, but he's he's good. He's ready for the UFC right now.
Absolutely. I
Right?
think
They could
so.
enter series tomorrow, and he would do well. He
He
fight, he fights like Wonder Boy, so that's the thing I didn't know. Right? It's
he
like, yeah,
came out with those leg kicks. I was like, holy shit.
well, get this. Wonder Boy's dad was in his corner
Yeah, I noticed that.
at him, and I was like hearing like coming up to this fight about this Penn State wrestler, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I hadn't heard of him, so I was like, I'm sure he's a dog. He wrestled at Penn State, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then I see him warming up, and I was like, why is he doing spinny stuff? But I literally had the thought. I was like, man, like I wonder if he's just playing around, maybe not taking this serious. And then come to find out, he's a striker. Like he wrestled and dude straight up a striker, and I was like, damn. I was
Yeah.
like, I was like,
Well,
that's a wild formula.
my
Wonder
bro
Boy style on the feet with Penn State wrestling ability is crazy.
my brother and I were like, this kid is electric. And then I was driving home. My brother sends me a text. He's like, we're fucking dumbasses. Do you know who he is? And I'm like, yeah, you wrestled at Penn State. And he's like, no. So I played baseball and my brother played, we both played baseball at Pitt Bradford. And when I played baseball at Pitt Bradford, I was a freshman and there was a junior who was our starting catcher, and his name was Dom Morelli from Du Bois.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's Dom's youngest brother or Dom's nephew, like, because Gino's only 30, maybe 31,
Oh,
I think they said. And Dominic was like 3 years older than I was. And so Dom's got to be 40. He's actually married to a kid that I was friends with and graduated with in high school, who's now the head baseball coach at Pitt Bradford. He married Zach Foster, my friend Zach's sister. And but Dom, he was the catcher, but I knew Dom more for getting in fights on campus. Like Dom was just a scrapper, like short, stocky, really good wrestler in high school, wrestled at Du Bois. I think he went to Du Bois Central Christian, if I'm not mistaken. But like my brother's like, I'm pretty sure that's Dom's youngest brother or nephew or cousin or something. And then it all clicked. I'm like, well, no shit that he's a tough kid. Like, and then you, to your point, you throw Wonder Boy and all of that in there. I mean, that's a dangerous mix. Like he came out, there was a clear separation between a lot of what you saw in him, and I was not expecting that.
yeah, I think him. Another dude I was super impressed with. What I didn't get to see all of the fight was Jay Manning.
Dude.
Uh, yeah, he's good. I didn't. I've never known anything about it. He's not. He hasn't fought in Pittsburgh since I've moved here, and
Mm-hmm.
dude, he's good. There was a lot of impressive performances on there,
Yeah.
and it was a great card, a great night.
There was a
Obviously,
kid from Ohio that um he fought like a real stocky dude from the center part of Pennsylvania, big burly kid, and the big burly kid, I think his name was Tyler, was like dropping bombs in the first round. And I'm like, oh shit, this isn't good. And the other dude had kind of, I think he had cornrows, maybe longer hair, but
I missed. I was
he,
cornering, dude.
yeah,
I,
he ended up, freaking just like, I think he tapped a kid with an armbar or a Kimura, if I'm not mistaken. But I was like, wow, like that, he weathered the storm of a kid that was obviously just a big, strong wrestler that was just throwing, he was looked like a farm boy. And I don't know if you've ever seen that clip on YouTube or Instagram where there's like a kid up against the fence and his girlfriend's in the stand and she's like, come on, get up, Brian, get up. And he like turns and looks, he's like, Brittany, I'm trying, shut up. This,
nah.
this girl, I felt bad for this kid. She's like, Tyler, quit. This kid's a pussy. You're getting your ass beat by a pussy. This is embarrassing. You need to get up. You need to get up. I'm
Was this
like,
pro? Was this one of the pro fights?
yeah.
Was it Cahill? Was it the
Um,
the one where the big dude gassed out and lost in the
yeah.
third?
Yes.
I
Yes.
didn't watch that fight,
Yes.
but I watched the first round and I was like, okay, Taylor wrestled. Me and his side of the world don't really get along very well. But he wrestled. I looked over. I was like, all right, he's gonna lay him and did the whole fight. And then he gassed, bro,
Big
bad,
time. Yeah. And then
bad.
he ended up getting tapped in the
Throwing,
third.
throwing hard punches, and then yeah, he got tapped.
Yeah, his girlfriend was not happy with him.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was I mean, I
I don't
get
think
it. You're there. You don't want to see your boyfriend get beat up, but she was like, "This kid's
yeah.
a pussy. How are you gonna get beat by a pussy?" I'm like,
Well,
"Whoa, you might not want to say that right now, sweetie."
yeah, he also missed weight, but I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself. I'm not a big fan of that group over there, and they got what was coming. So that's how that works.
Fight game,
Um,
bro. It's a fight
that's
game,
the
right?
probably, but you put yourself out there, man, in the arena. So
Yeah.
um, he put himself out there. I'm sure he'll come back and put on a better performance, work on that cardio. But yeah, and then we had Kama got upset, kind of an upset. That dude was his
He was
game that
tough.
he fought on Contender Series. One of the things I noticed in that fight was the size difference. That dude usually fights at 145 and beat Kama up a weight class. So I mean, I don't know how old he is. I don't know if the UFC is interested or not, but
Think he's
my,
33.
my man's talented. It's gonna be hard to get signed. To be honest with you, UFC typically just it's hard to get signed when you're that age. 30 is the number for most, right? Unless you're looking at the heavier weight classes, it's hard to get signed. To be honest, it's a young man's game.
Yeah, I mean,
Sucks for a lot of people.
he clearly was the better athlete. I saw moments where Kama, I mean, look, Kama's that he's had a long road and he still had bright spots in that fight where you could see the savviness that he had
Yeah,
was able to it was really what kind of kept him in the fight. But there was just I sensed that kid was just a little bit of a better younger athlete and was a little more explosive. I felt like he had a little bit more dynamic shit going on. I don't know.
yeah. Well, here's the thing about those boys. I spar with Shock all the time. I've sparred with Kama, although I try not to, because he scares me. Their timing's weird, right? So they're like not only timing, but they stand in a stance that's kind of weird. And
Mm.
I've sparred Shaka for 2 years, 3 years, probably at this point. Still haven't figured it out, right? So like props to that dude for figuring out that like unique style and putting on a good performance. I think Kama probably could have put on a better performance. But it's what happens on the given Saturday.
He
So
had that kid had some really well-timed shots when Kama would throw. He had it timed perfectly to take the takedown. And I felt like that happened 2 or 3 times and it just really disrupted the flow because otherwise Kama's to your point, man, he is crafty and slick on his feet. Like there was a couple of moments where he landed some really slick and sneaky shots that you could tell that dude was like, "Oh fuck, like he hit me harder than I was expecting to be hit." And
bro,
he was a quicker than I expected to be
any
hit.
brother will hit you and you'll be like, that shouldn't have hurt. Why did that hurt so
You
bad?
could
I
tell.
don't know,
Yeah.
bed, but it worked. My
Mm.
boys eat nails for breakfast. But they got power, man, and they got that tricky style, and it works, man. It really does. It works for them, right? It's very unique, and like if you showed me a silhouette of them like striking, shadow boxing, doing anything, I'd be like, yeah, that's a worthy. You know,
Hmm.
what I mean? It's very unique. But yeah, dude, overall the fights were great. And 247 puts on a good event. They always do. And it was good. It was dope to watch. It was dope to be a
Yeah.
part of, and coach and, have a new role, for that specific event. Mike was out of town, so I filled in as coach for a lot of the fights.
No, I mean, that's got to be I mean, you're going to learn so much from doing things like that and getting a different perspective. And yeah, I'm sure that was both exciting, but also very beneficial to be in that seat.
Yeah, and stressful.
Yeah, no, I
Dude,
could tell
I,
when I saw you and we connected beforehand, I could tell you were like, man, you're more
bro,
nervous for other people than you are for yourself.
well, let me tell you what my day looked like. I woke up at 9 a.m., taught some 5-year-olds how to do jujitsu, then taught some 7 to 13-year-olds how to do jujitsu at 10, then taught kids striking, and then I sparred till 2 o'clock, ran to my house, ate something small. Actually, I didn't eat anything. I ran to my house to go pick something up and then went straight to Monroeville. And was in the back. And then I was like, after Anthony fought and I had this big adrenaline dump, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten today. And I was like, oh, you know what? At this point, the diet doesn't really matter. I'm at negative calories actually body. Um, so yeah, man, it was stressful for sure. I'm sure I'll have a future in that job, but while I'm focused on fighting, man,
Yeah.
um, I don't know how often Mike needs to do he doesn't go on vacation much. So next year in September, I might go on vacation the same time as him because
There you go.
rough go of it. But it was awesome. Like I say that jokingly, but like
Yeah.
it's a unique opportunity, and man, I'm blessed to be able to like be trusted with that. You know what I mean? Be trusted as like, yo, I want Lucas in my corner. And, some guys are like, I even want Lucas to talk because I know he knows the codes or, give advice when it gets to the
Mhm.
wall and stuff. It's awesome. It's a blessing really. Like it really is. And I don't take it for granted.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. 135. Is that you feeling good to get down there?
Yeah, man, I'm starting to feel like I'm thinning out. Next time you see me, man, you'll be like, damn, man, you look like all you did. But yeah, man, it feels better. I feel like I'm getting ready for a fight. Last fight at 45. I was supposed to fight at 35. Opponent got hurt. And then we ended up finding a fight at 45. Uh and fighting at 35, having that like weight cut, that like it brings something out of you, some kind of like primal thing. And
Mm.
then the actual weight cut itself, the water weight. I was telling somebody this, it's I think I heard Izzy say it was like it's like a snake shedding their skin. You know what I mean? And then you're a new man when you make weight. So I like it. Like I like the cutting weight thing. I like the discipline that it takes. And that's what makes this game worth it, is like if anybody could do it, it wouldn't be as like glorified, it wouldn't be as cool, it wouldn't be as
Sure.
respected. You know what I mean? Like most people can't do it. Most people can't cut weight, train. Most people can't, do a lot of this stuff. So, I'm the person that gets the opportunity to um do it, and I've earned it, and I'm gonna go out and do what I'm supposed to do. Have a fun time doing it.
I would imagine at the lower weights, you're not putting on. I mean, I've heard these stories about Pereira getting back in, like he's fighting at 205 and he gets in the cage at like 225, 230.
No.
Obviously, the difference being, I mean, smaller weight, even just a 5 pound increase is a lot of weight for 135. I mean, he,
Yeah. So it like depends. You know what I mean?
yeah,
A lot of people make that mistake and they put on too much weight afterwards. I've kind of played with it. If I fight at 35, I usually fight. I like to fight between 148 and 152, whatever I end up at. I don't really get on a scale because like I don't want to concern myself with it too much.
yeah.
Um, Down to a science, like what I'm gonna drink, what I'm gonna eat.
That's actually more than what I was thinking you were going to tell me. I thought you were going to tell me like closer to 140, 145, but you
Uh,
get up closer to 150.
think about it, like it's whatever you put in your body is gonna stick to you. A
Yeah,
gallon, weighs 8 pounds, so
true.
you're not like your body's dehydrated, so it's just gonna absorb that. I drink 1 gallon of water, I'm already at 144, right? I weigh in 136, I'm already at 144. I'm drinking more than 1 gallon of water, not eating a ton, right? I'm eating
Yeah,
fairly normal. It's mostly just water. But you don't want to be bloated. You don't want to have like that lethargic feeling when you're in there.
yeah. No, dude, I am excited now to see what you look like. That's
Yeah, you're gonna see me, and then like a week of the fight, you're gonna be like, "Damn, bro, you all right?"
No, I think we talked about that one of the early episodes. Like just even the look is the one thing, but just even the mindset, the demeanor, kind of how I'm a flip. There's a switch that I'm sure gets flipped that
Yeah,
you kind of
yeah,
have to start changing your mindset and perspective a little bit. So,
yeah. I feel like it already got flipped. I feel like it got flipped a little bit earlier, in this camp. And it might be due to the weight cut. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I'm so fucking excited. I'm excited to be able to perform. I'm excited to be the main event. I'm excited for, you know, having the opportunity to do what I love. You know what I mean? Have my coaches in my corner, have a fight that I'm excited for, and then I'm just excited for when I'm actually in there and the lights are on. I know who I am, and I know I'm going to put on the best performance possible.
I'm so stoked. I've been telling everybody about it. I'm like, get the tickets now while you can because this one's going to be exciting.
And I got tickets. If you walk up to me at any time, I will have tickets on me. I have them in my fanny pack, which I carry with me. All right. So I have the GA tickets, and if you just want general admission, I have those tickets on me at all times. And we're trying to sell this event out, right? I'm gonna be the main event. We got a Stout Fighter as the co-main. Probably gonna have a Stout Fighter as the co-main. And we're gonna sell this event out. And when I walk out, every single person in there is gonna be cheering for me. Except maybe like Eddie's like a couple people he brings from that part of PA, but they'll probably end up being my fans afterwards anyway.
Yes. No, I love it. No, dude, this is good. I'm glad we hopped on here. I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want us to, we're starting to build quite the little following. And so I'm going to just shameless promotion. Like we're growing the YouTube channel out. We've got people listening to, a lot of people check the clips and I get it, right? Like the clips are on fire on social media. I was actually surprised. I mean, 5,000-6,000 views per clip on some of these clips, which is nice. I want to get some of these people converted over because we're not sharing everything. And I'm trying to share different things on YouTube and even things that we even had some conversation that was not included in some of the last podcasts. So if you guys want to catch things, if you want to see the video, if you watch the video as opposed to listening to the audio only on Spotify, go to the YouTube channel and just subscribe to it. There's going to be so much. I mean, we're just getting this thing rolling. And after you have this fight and kick his ass, there's going to be a lot more fun things to do and talk about. So get on board now while you can. And
yeah, it's a good time. You know what I mean? We're gonna go to the top, and a lot of people want to be a part of something when it grows. Now's the chance. I'm making it top, and I would like for everybody to come with me.
I'm most excited about that. I'm excited to listen back to these when you're walking out to a UFC event and be like, dude, remember when he was fighting Eddie Alvarez? Do you remember that? Like, remember what he was saying?
Yeah.
Remember, like, that's to me some of the coolest shit when you have that time capsule, right? And you can kind of see, the progression on something like this. You can hear the discussions. You can understand where somebody was at. I don't know. I'm a dork for shit like that. So if you are a dork for that,
Yeah,
go follow,
a lot of people love an underdog story, you know what I mean? So I'm not, I wasn't anything special my whole career. I found a passion, I put everything into it, and I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna bring a lot of people with me.
Are you back home right now?
Yeah, I'm back home. That's why we're not together. My brother's having his baby shower. My oldest brother Dustin.
Oh, nice.
His fiance Allie are having their baby shower for their first kid. So gonna find out. Tomorrow. I wasn't gonna miss it. My brother Wyatt he had his son Jagger like the week before my pro debut. So I unfortunately missed like a lot of the stuff that came with that. And I was like, I can't miss family stuff. You know what I mean? Like and I'm blessed enough to have like a job where I can do this. You know what I mean? Like to go see family. And that's just, something I obviously have worked for, put myself, but the people at Stout have helped me out. So yeah, man.
Good. No, listen, enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to getting together with Luke. If he's up, I'm gonna keep an eye out because I'm pretty sure he was there with Josh on
he'll be
Monday.
And Zealy. And yeah, man. Next week we got Luke Martin on the podcast. Fairmont State national champion, former WVU wrestler, one of my teammates. Not only at WVU but at Stout. Luke's a 4-0 amateur, and he's on the way to being a professional fighter. And he's working his ass off to get there. And I can't wait to have him on the podcast, shoot the shit with him, really, because I mean, he's my boy. I've known him since I was 18 years old. And, we're coming up together.
I want to get him, and I know I brought this up to you before, but I want to leave you with this. I don't know if you ended up watching it. I sent you that guy's page, the kid that was the state champion wrestler in Ohio that moved out to California and has the like, take me down, win $1,000. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
like
yeah.
you to look through, if you're bored while you're at home, watch some of the videos because I went on like a rabbit hole watching all the different people. Some of these guys are complete scrubs, and like they know he's dicking with him. He's like, here, you can have my leg, and he like fucking hops out of it and takes him down. But there's been a couple of people that you can see he turns it up and has to actually wrestle them, and some of them, like the one dude's like a power lifter. I'm impressed, man. This kid is good, but I'd be curious. Watch him and let's talk and see like if it's worth flying Luke or you or somebody out to California and seeing if we can take not only this kid's $1,000 but get a great social media blurb. Like in all honesty, I'm curious how good you guys think he really is.
Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely we'll chat about that for sure.
It's an interesting
Yeah.
angle because he's kicking everybody's ass, and I'm like, there's a little bit of a Jake Paul thing going on here because he's a part of some like content creator house where there's must be a bunch of like YouTubers that all live there, and he's figured it out, right? And he brings in some pretty beefed up like ex football players, bodyguards, and he's just working these people. But the kid, he's quick, and I looked back in his page he used to do a lot of like gym content, and dude is fucking yoked. So I don't know what he's been doing after his high school wrestling career, but I got a feeling he's making trips to Mexico, if you know what I'm saying.